Fala pessoal, de boa, continuando a nossa gameplay do Starfield de onde paramos. E bom, hoje a gente vai aí soltar um vídeo mais tranquilo, né? Que é relacionado ali à personagem Sarah, tá? Todo o desenvolvimento dela até a gente chegar na parte ali de relacionamento e tudo mais, né? Mostrando alguns diálogos ali a mais do personagem. Não vai ser todos, porque senão eu teria que fazer o gameplay inteira 100% de Starfield com ela, pra gravar todas as falas, né? E aí depois fazer a mesma coisa com outro personagem. Isso aí se torna até inviável. Mas pelo menos os diálogos principais, o desenvolvimento dela ali, conforme a gente vai explorando, fazendo missões, ganhando empatia com ela, você vai liberando mais coisas aí relacionadas à história dela, tá? Então primeiramente vamos mostrar aí o início, né, dos diálogos, conhecendo ela, seguindo em frente, até a hora que a gente chega ali e vai melhorando o compromisso com ela, beleza? Ao longo da gameplay. Então é uma coisa aí mais de diálogos, né? Pra quem quiser conhecer a personagem mesmo, tá?
So, we have a starborn in Constellation. And you knew all of us from your prior universe. Even our secrets, perhaps. It's a bit unsettling, honestly. Do you have any idea how insane that sounds? There is no first time for me. You mean your first time. With another Sarah. But you're not even... I mean, are you still human? How do I even know where to begin? So I just ignore that you're a quasi-cosmic entity and just focus on the person you were before... all this? Fine. But no tricks. I don't want you racing to the end of something you know I'm going to say. Equal footing, all right? This is definitely the winner of strangest way of joining Constellation. But why not? You're here.
Depois desse diálogo inicial, você pode recrutar ela e aí começa o desenvolvimento dela junto com você nas explorações, beleza?
Thanks for taking the time to talk. I wanted to ask you about the artifact you found on Bactera. When you pulled it from the rock, held it in your hands for the first time, how did you feel? No, I don't think you understand. I know about the visions, the light, and the music. How did you feel inside? What were your thoughts? If we're going to unlock the secrets of these artifacts, we're going to need more than simple empirical data. We'll need to dig deeper. It would be helpful if you'd just tell me how holding the artifact made you feel. That's an interesting reaction. But I suppose it shouldn't surprise me. When dealing with the artifacts, common sense tends to go right out the window. Honestly, I wasn't sure how you'd react. Some people would consider what you went through a deeply personal experience. Oh, well, I enjoy hearing about them. Professionally, of course. Either way, we need all the help we can get. The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you. Quite the mystery. Well, judging from the fact that both you and Barrett claim to have heard music, I've made the leap that the artifact was reaching out. Music composition might not consist of words and sentences, but I'll be damned if that isn't an attempt at language. Oh, that's an excellent question. You'd think after years of gathering data about the artifacts, I'd have the perfect answer to that, but I haven't the faintest idea. Oh, no, not at all. There's so much going on there, I can't afford to divert all of our resources, but I have classified the artifacts as a priority project. Not much, I'm afraid. All I have to show for my efforts are eyewitness accounts, scores of inconclusive metallurgical test results, and wild theories. Does that really surprise you? A universal mystery left unsolved for God knows how long? Oh, I've been dreaming about solving this puzzle from the beginning. I knew I picked the right person for the job. Look, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to talk, and for keeping an open mind. And I also wanted to say, well, I'm pleased we're on this journey together. It's the best decision I've made in quite a long time. Remember our last conversation when you told me the artifacts made your mind and body feel out of sync? Well, it got me thinking, so I dove into our archives and started looking through Constellation's older journal entries. Just because I wasn't familiar with the experience you described, doesn't mean the same might have been true for my predecessor. Unfortunately, no. Other than you and Barrett, there were no records of direct encounters with the artifacts. I have to admit, though, I did get more than a bit sidetracked reminiscing about old times. Really? I'm surprised that I haven't. After reading those journals, all of the pleasant memories of my time spent with Aja just started flooding back. Aja Mamasa. She was the youngest member of Constellation when it was founded. Only took her 15 years to reach chair. Sorry, I sometimes get so caught up in my own bubble, I forget that I wasn't the first. Oh yes, absolutely. I didn't mean to compare. Those were just... oh, I don't know. Different times. Aja was the one that taught me the ropes at Constellation and took me under her wing as her protege. Now that you mention it, you're probably right. Either way, we logged quite a few interesting discoveries together. Honestly, it wasn't so much what Aja and I discovered in our travels. It was the journey that was memorable. We catalogued unusual stellar phenomena, a few habitable worlds, and some unique life forms, but nothing SSNN would bother to report. Exactly. For me, it was all about the quieter moments. There was nothing quite like sitting back and watching space bend while listening to Aja spin vivid stories to fill the time. Oh, I find that sort of cozy isolation the best way to really get to know someone. Yeah, you know, being alone in interstellar space, nothing but light years of black around you. Some people find that terrifying. I find it comfortable. It helps me bond with my shipmates. At this point, I'd say you've graduated from protege and moved up the ladder. A bit. You know, all this talk about Aja reminds me that my time with her was a gift. I miss her dearly. I wasn't gunning for her spot. In fact, everyone at Constellation was surprised when she announced she was retiring and moving to Parima 2. Come to think of it, if we're ever out that far, perhaps we could pay her a visit, and I could make proper introductions. Oh, don't worry. There's no bad blood between us. The worst that might happen is you get stuck listening to two old friends catching up on old times. Well, I don't expect you to be a carbon copy of Aja. Just be yourself. You see, it's clear that we share the same hunger to discover what's out there. And that, well, that's what intrigues me about you. I don't know if I deserve to be that close to anyone right now. If you knew about the things that I've done, the way my life's unfolded, I think your opinion of me might change. Please, give me some time. I have to go.
Pardon.
Thanks for taking time to chat. I really need a friendly ear right about now. I received a message from Constellation, and it's given me a lot to think about. No, it's nothing like that. It's just a list of requests, things I would normally handle if I was there. But I'm not. I'm out here instead with you. No, it's the first time. But the fact that they're reaching out, well, it's given me a lot to think about. You're not keeping me out here. I am. Just... Here, let me explain. Before I joined Constellation, I served for 8 years as the head of the Navigator Corps, until the UC decided to axe the department. If you want to help, I feel like I need to give you some background. Just bear with me. It was a branch of the United Colonies Navy, a small fleet of ships outfitted for galactic exploration. Basically, a military version of Constellation. Yeah, I suppose painful is an appropriate way to put it. You see, the top brass demanded press-worthy discoveries to justify the spending, and money was tight after the war. Shutdown was inevitable. At the end of the day, I was in charge, so the blame obviously fell on my shoulders. Seriously? The Colony War, of course. You know, that little incident that caused the death of thousands of decent men and women as they squabbled over border disputes. That war. Yeah? You once told me that you favored the journey over the destination. So I'm hoping you'll understand what I'm trying to say. I failed. because I was more concerned about exploring the stars than pushing a pencil. Because of my lack of foresight, all I ended up with was a shattered division and a bunch of excuses. That depends on your definition of significant. Discover a rare neutron star, and no one cares. But slap a picture of a kooky alien life form on SSNN, and suddenly you're a goddamn rock star. It's all about the propaganda, what gets the people excited. That's what the United Colonies was focused on at the time. That's just it, though. Did I push too hard? Did they shut us down because I wasn't quietly sitting at my desk approving meaningless memos? We'll never know. Well, that brings us to this message now, doesn't it? Call it whatever you want. My drive, my initiative, my optimism. It's been my greatest strength and my worst nightmare. It elevates me to these positions of authority, but all I want to do is explore, not sit and make sure all the accounts are balanced. Yes, exactly. If it's obvious to you, imagine how obvious it is to someone like Barrett or Mateo. Oh, they must be itching to replace me by now. God damn it. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Oh, here you are trying to help me and I'm yelling at you. You have to understand. Once Aja retired, I lost the only person that gave a damn. Oh, of course you aren't. Just the fact that you took time to listen means a lot. Look, I've already taken up too much of your time, and honestly, I'm exhausted. But thank you for being there and listening. It helped. It really did. I have an important personal decision to make, but I need to discuss something with you first. No, not at all. This is something that's been weighing on my mind for a long time. I was hoping if I talked about it with you, I could get your opinion. That's all. Phew, thank you. So, where to start? Before I was with the Navigator Corps, I was career military, part of the United Colonies Navy. When the colony war broke out, I was posted as the chief navigator on a warship, the Dauntless. In my case, I was third in command, which has a lot to do with the story. There was a particularly bloody battle. We were fighting over a world in the Eta Cassiopeia system. Worst fighting I'd ever seen. We lost 12 ships that day. 12. Including my own. Economic reasons. Several of the worlds in the Cassiopeia system were mineral rich. Both sides wanted to drop refinery outposts on the surface to bolster their supply. I'm well aware how many lives were lost. Now let me finish. The ship was barely intact. The captain and first mate died the previous day, which put me in command. A shrewd captain would have called for the crew to abandon ship, but I was so angry. I wanted to stay. I needed to fight. The Dauntless was a tough little ship. No shields and the hull was breached, but it still had power. And weapons. That's why I remained in the battle. Huge mistake. Well, I didn't have the luxury of indecision. I had to act. We fought for hours, but the damage was fatal. I gave the order to abandon ship and the crew piled into the escape shuttle. As the shuttle launched, I could see it was damaged. I heard screams before the radio cut. The last thing I saw, they were spiraling helplessly towards the planet's surface. There was nothing I could do. It was my duty as acting captain to be the last person to leave the Dauntless. We had more than one escape shuttle available. So, I elected to wait until they were safe. The ship barely had enough power for comms and life support. All I could do was watch them die. Thank you. But condolences can't reverse what I've done. I was caught up in the moment. An inexperienced captain making rash decisions that cost people their lives. My superiors. When the dust settled, the United Colonies gave me a medal. Can you believe that? A damn medal. I never even had a chance to find the shuttle wreckage and give my crew a proper burial. After I checked every section of the ship for wounded crew, I took the other escape shuttle. If I hadn't, I would have died. The Dauntless came apart minutes after I escaped. That's true, but still, it doesn't erase the real issue here. Remember when you said no one but me would have pushed harder to keep the Navigator Corps going? Well, this time, pushing too hard cost lives. Don't you get it? Everything I do, everything I touch, somehow falls apart. That's why I'm worried about us. Look, it's clear the two of us are becoming more than partners. We're becoming close friends. Even though I've pushed people away in the past, I feel different when I'm around you. I feel safer, comfortable, not afraid to admit who I am. I'm terrified I'm going to screw that up. All this nonsense and you still have faith, eh? You really care about me, don't you? You know, I've spent a lot of time thinking about us, about our relationship, how we've clearly become close. I practiced what I was going to say when the moment was right, and now that it's here, my mind's gone blank. Look, you deserve the best. Someone who can give themselves to you entirely. But right now, I have too much baggage. Too much on my mind. I hope you'll forgive me for pushing you away. I just need time. Sorry to pull you aside like this, but I wanted to take a moment to congratulate you. Taking those steps to eradicate the Terramorph threat is essential to the safety of every living thing in the settled systems. You should be proud. Yes, exactly. I'm glad you treated the situation with the urgency it deserved. I only wish that the United Colonies chose to exterminate the Terramorphs with the experimental microbe, instead of choosing this ridiculous Asili solution. Apparently, their decision was based on your recommendation. That was a risky choice you've made. Minimal risk. Are you sure? The Asili solution might take years, perhaps even decades. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking for humankind. That sounds far too risky to me. You've already seen how much destruction just a few Terramorphs can cause. While we wait for the Asilis to naturally prey upon them, we have to spend time and resources defending ourselves. How many human lives will be lost due to the wait? Why should we wall ourselves in when we could simply eradicate them in one fell swoop? The science was at our disposal, and now we've cast that aside. I fear for the future. Well, I'm disappointed that you didn't trust the science. Thankfully, the eradication of the Lazarus plant gives the Asilis a bit more time to do their job. I'm sorry, I don't. All we've solved is our heat leech problem, which is definitely a step in the right direction. It doesn't dismiss the fact that it will take the Asilis a dangerously long time to hunt down and eliminate the Terramorphs. Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. I appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to listen to my opinion on the matter. I'm sorry if I've said anything that jeopardizes our working relationship. I certainly do. It's all yours. Ask whatever you'd like. My parents considered themselves to be enlightened. But their lives were so busy, they rarely pursued their beliefs. By the time I was old enough to start questioning these things, the idea of following any organized religion was almost an afterthought. It's not that I don't want to believe in anything, it's that my scientific mind is often at odds with my spiritual center. Having been out there, in the Starfield, seeing all those magnificent wonders with my own eyes, I need answers, not religious theory. I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but don't worry. While we're on this journey together, I fully intend to respect your religious beliefs. You mean, apart from being the chair of Constellation for the past 5 years? Well, let's see. I pride myself with my aptitude for astrodynamics, calculating optimal trajectories for grav jumping. That's been quite useful in the past. And as far as planetary exploration, my area of expertise is botany. So, don't worry. I won't let you eat anything that might put you in the hospital. Exploration is my entire life. I consider it both a career and recreation. That being said, I will make a confession, but you have to promise to keep it between us. Before I graduated from school, I was in a band. And no, I don't mean the school band. I mean a rock band. We called ourselves Ironic Comet. A ridiculous name, I know. But we were just a bunch of teenagers getting together and having fun. And before you ask, no, I wasn't the lead singer. I actually played the drums. The band never really went anywhere, of course, but those were good times, and I remember them fondly. Certainly. I always enjoy our little chats. Okay. Ever since we talked about the Battle of Cassiopeia, I can't get what happened out of my mind. Was it that obvious? I thought I could handle these memories, but until I return to Cassiopeia, I'll never be able to put this to rest. The last time I saw my crew, their escape shuttle was headed for the planet's surface. I need to find the wreckage to ensure their memories are honored. I would like that. Actually, I need that. One problem, though. Pinpointing the crew's shuttle wreckage is going to be like trying to find a grain of salt in a sandbox. I think we need to start by locating my old campsite on Cassiopeia 1. Shortly after I evacuated, I saw the ship come apart. The UC listed it as lost, so I assume the Dauntless was completely destroyed. The Dauntless took heavy fire to the docking section during the battle. We had 3 shuttles. One was destroyed, and the other 2 were damaged. There was no other way off the ship. What's there to tell? I survived. My crew didn't. Still, I'll never forget my finger hovering over that launch button. Would I launch safely, or explode into a fireball? It turned out that my shuttle had just enough power to allow an emergency landing on the planet's surface. I wouldn't call what I did a soft landing, but thank you all the same. My shuttle should have the telemetry tracking data for the other shuttle aboard. It should give us an idea where it went down. That's if scavengers haven't completely stripped my ship for parts. It has a breathable atmosphere, indigenous fauna, and maybe a few abandoned mining outposts. Otherwise, it's not populated. Don't worry, it's not as though I'm coming apart at the seams. It's the conversations we've been having. They dredged up these old memories, and they're a burden. Hold on. I don't know the exact location of my survival campsite. For that, we are going to have to head to Mast and see if we can get the information from my old friend, Admiral Logan. Your instincts are right on target. Logan and I butted heads more than once during my time with the Navigator Corps. We've never seen eye to eye. Look, I hope this isn't asking too much. Last thing I want to do is drag you into some kind of personal crusade. That's why I'm desperate for your help. Truth is, I'm scared. When I set foot on Cassiopeia, I don't know if I'll be able to handle what I find. If I begin to fall apart, I need someone I can trust to hold me together. Besides bad memories, I don't know. I'm trying not to think about it. Not yet. I know you will. You've always been there when I've needed your help. Why you continue to support me, I'll never understand. I don't know what to say. I've been so busy searching the stars for answers. I've overlooked what's been in front of me all this time. True love. Something I've seriously considered sharing with you for a long time. Just not ready. Not yet. Traveling out here with you, I've discovered that friendships change by circumstance. I worked closely with Aja on long space voyages, so we became friendly. When she quit Constellation, the friendship ended. But I'm certain at this point, even if you and I were separated by a great distance, we'd never lose touch. I won't. Hey, anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. I know you have a lot to do. I really appreciate your offer to visit Cassiopeia. Hopefully, it'll bring me the closure that I've needed for far too long. Thanks for giving me a moment of your time. I promise this won't take long. I thought you deserved to know how proud I am that you chose to side with the United Colonies and put an end to the Crimson Fleet. You've almost single-handedly saved the settled systems from one of its most dangerous enemies. I can't possibly commend you highly enough. Well, I'm not sure I deserve that, but I appreciate it all the same. What I want to know is what motivated you into making the right decision. You had Crix's legacy in hand, and you could have easily taken it to the Key. Instead, you flew it to the Vigilance. Yes, that would have been unfortunate. The Crimson Fleet would have had enough wealth to fund their operation for decades. So, no regrets betraying Delgado then? I imagine you and he formed quite a partnership right up until the end. No, I'm sorry. I refuse to excuse Delgado for his loathsome behavior by placing all of the blame on his past. We all have our crosses to bear, but it's how we choose to handle them that truly defines us as a person. I have to be honest with you. It disturbs me that you would leap to his defense so quickly. Live long enough among the wolves and you begin to act like them. Yes, I understand. I suppose my final concern is how long this newfound peace will last. Perhaps. My only concern are the reports that Memoriam was never captured or killed. My hope is that she was smart and went into permanent exile. I suppose only time will tell. Well, it appears I've soured the mood of our lovely conversation. I trust my mindless prattle hasn't been too much of a bother. Thanks for taking the time to listen.
Sarah Morgan. It's been, what, almost 10 years?
Admiral, it's, good to see you again, sir.
You're not required to address me as sir. That protocol ended the moment you dropped your clusters on my desk, remember?
Look, Admiral, I'm not here to open old wounds.
Old wounds is an interesting turn of phrase, given our past. Listen to me, Commander. I'm not sure why you're here, but whatever it is, why don't you just get to it?
I'm here because I need your help, Admiral.
You need my help. That's interesting. The last time we spoke, you made it quite clear that you were turning your back on the Navy.
That was a decade ago. Things change. People change. Admiral, please. I didn't come here to argue. I'm here to come to terms with my past.
Your past is sitting in a closed file in the archives. That's where you left it when you walked out on the United Colonies. And what about you? Just who in the blazes are you anyway? I see. Then, as Sarah's associate, perhaps you could kindly explain to me why I shouldn't have the both of you escorted from the building.
With all due respect, Admiral, this is ridiculous. If you have a problem with me, then there's no need to berate my colleague.
I don't have a problem with you, Commander. I'm simply trying to determine why you deserve the Navy's help. That's quite a noble gesture. Is this true, Commander?
It's about Cassiopeia, Admiral. I'm heading back there to find out what happened to the crew of the Dauntless, and hopefully, to bring their legacy home.
That sounds like a dangerous operation. Are you certain it's worth the risk?
I don't know.
I see. The fact that you'd risk your own lives to solve this mystery speaks volumes.
They were my responsibility, Admiral. One way or another, I intend to bring them home.
I understand. And I believe I owe you an apology, Commander. Our last encounter has obviously distorted my impression of your character. What can I do to help?
If you wouldn't mind allowing me to access the files regarding my rescue, I'd be most grateful, Admiral.
That shouldn't be too difficult. I've sent all the relevant information to you, Slades. Was there anything else?
No, Admiral. Thank you.
You don't need to thank me, Commander. I just hope you find whatever it is you're looking for.
We should make sure we're well supplied for the trip to Cassiopeia.
Beleza, aí depois da gente avançar uma certa quantidade ali de empatia, do desenvolvimento da personagem, a gente acaba liberando uma missão para fazer relacionada ali à história dela, tá? E agora a gente vai para esse planeta aí também começar.
I can't believe I'm here. It feels like walking into a dream. Oh, it's been nearly 20 years, but it feels like a lifetime. Strangely, this place looks exactly the same as I remember it. But that isn't possible, right? Just like a dream. I'm okay. It's just so surreal. Phew. Okay, so let me get my bearings for a moment. Yes, this looks correct. Those rock formations nearby look familiar. My old campsite shouldn't be far. You mean besides the dangerous terrain, vicious fauna, and the chance of getting lost? Nah, we've got nothing to worry about. I will, I promise. Once we get to the campsite, we'll use that as a starting point to search for the crew's shuttle wreckage. Let's go.
E é uma parte bem interessante porque a gente conhece ali, né, um pouco do passado dela, sobre esse acidente aqui também, né? É uma coisa bem legal.
This must be some debris from my shuttle. Not exactly a textbook landing, but I didn't have much of a choice.
E isso é uma parte interessante da história da personagem ali, né? Então agora a nossa busca é resolver, né, mistérios sobre esse acidente aí, se teve algum sobrevivente ou algo desse tipo, né? Precisamos conversar com ela de novo ali para continuar com a história.
Well, this is it. This is the spot where I spent close to a year waiting for rescue. Not exactly Paradiso, is it? I'm surprised you've never heard of the place. It's a resort colony in the Progressão system. You know, a place to get away and unwind. Maybe we should head out there after we're done. Goodness knows we'll both need a vacation. I never said I walked away. When my ship hard landed on the surface, it broke apart. There was no fire, but I was pretty badly injured. Had to crawl from the wreckage. When they finally rescued me, the UC medics said I had 3 broken ribs, shattered my ulna, and had internal organ damage. I was in the medical ward recovering for almost 6 weeks. It was difficult and painful, but it kept me alive. It was home. Look at this thing. It's been sitting here rusting. I think we need to grab an emergency power cell to get the ship's computer up and running. That's an excellent point. I hadn't taken degradation into account. I'm glad I brought you along. When I was stranded, I set up a distress beacon powered by emergency power cells. The beacon was up there on the plateau. I guess it's time to start climbing.
Beleza, e agora a gente precisa subir aqui. Essa área tá, ó. O ponto tá marcado lá em cima para conseguir uma bateria de emergência. Para continuar a missãozinha dela ali também. Só lembrando, né, que quando a gente liberar esse tipo de missão aqui de um Companion, a gente não consegue mandar ele embora, tá? Só depois de completar a missão que essa opção aí ficará disponível de novo, beleza? Só para lembrar também, né, porque vai que acontece aí de você estar com a missão, é mais fácil você ir lá completar ela logo, caso queira trocar para outro Companion, né? Aqui eu tô fazendo toda a parte de interação com a Sarah, então, né, eu vou mostrar tudo aí pra vocês. E isso aqui é uma missãozinha que faz parte da história dela. Aqui eu tive que esperar, porque ela se perdeu no caminho ali.
Setting up this beacon probably saved my life. Who knows how long I would have been stranded here.
E essa parte aqui também é uma área bem perigosa, porque a partir do momento que você pegar, ó, a bateria de emergência, vai brotar ali 4 bichos, tá? Automaticamente na onde você tá. E esses inimigos aqui, eles são bem nivelados com o teu personagem, né? O meu tá ali com um nível mais alto, mas olha o nível que apareceu os inimigos aqui. Nível 100, 70 e pouco, tá? E assim, são inimigos extremamente fortes. Cara, se você estiver jogando igual eu ali, na dificuldade mais alta do game, rapaz, não fica ali no meio não, tá? Porque até com o set mais forte de resistência que você tiver, mano, é bem capaz desses bichos aqui dar uma lapada só em você. Já deixar isso aí bem claro, porque olha a vida desta merda. Mano, não morre. Fora que eles correm, se escondem aí também na terra, tá? E brota do nada pra te pegar de surpresa, então toma bastante cuidado, tá? A gente conseguiu eliminar o mais forte. Aí eu voltando pra área ali de continuar com a missão. Olha o puto que brotou ali já. Querendo vir pra cima. Sobe numa pedra aí. Porque aí, dessa forma ele fica meio perdido ali, ó. E facilita pra gente, né? Deixa o Companion se virando lá. Mata um primeiro, depois a gente ajuda ele. Mano, os bichos têm muita vida. E agora só falta aquele ali. Porque um deve estar aí pelo mapa perdido já, largou mão e foi embora. A bicho resistente da peste, mano. Mas beleza. Eliminando eles ali, é só entrar nos destroços da nave ali pra gente continuar com a missão. Beleza, né? Então, entrando aqui na localização, vamos dar uma revirada, tá? É sempre bom porque isso daqui não é uma área que a gente vai voltar com muita frequência, então já dá pra entender ali que pode ter alguma coisinha. No caso, a gente acaba encontrando até aí, ó, uma revista, tá? Dentro dessa área, então é um bônus permanente, é bom pegar e levar também, certo? Acho que de resto ali não tem muita coisa a mais. Só munição, e aqui tá o computador onde a gente precisa colocar a bateria de energia, tá? Só acessar ele agora e ver os dados aqui dele também. Como padrão, eu sempre vou olhar todas as informações aqui do computador e irei deixar um pouquinho na tela para vocês aí também. Quem quiser ir dando uma pausada no vídeo para ler direitinho, bom proveito.
We've located where the other shuttle went down. I can't believe our plan worked. Don't even joke. If this data is faulty, and we end up being pointed to a pile of rocks, oh, I don't even know what we'd do next. I'm fairly certain I was able to capture all the data before I hit the ground. I'll try not to worry about it if you won't. Well, we're not there yet, but damn, it does feel good. The telemetry data puts the wreckage out of range to hike. We're going to have to head back to the ship and land on a different part of the planet. Let's get going.
Beleza, né? Então agora a gente já vai ter uma marcação ali no mapa, aonde vai ficar a queda ali, né? Do ônibus espacial, então agora a gente precisa ir pra lá, certo? Não tem segredo nessa parte aqui. A própria missão ali, ela vai te dar uma marcação pra você ir investigar, e o caminho é só você seguir essa seta aí até chegar no ponto. O jeito que você vai chegar lá, seja voando, pulando em cima de árvore ou pelo chão mesmo, tanto faz. Aí o critério é teu.
Oh, look at this view. Had I been on this planet under more pleasant circumstances, I might have had more time to appreciate the beauty it has to offer.
Aí seguindo um pouco mais em frente ali, eu tava em cima das árvores, a gente acabou encontrando uma parte ali, ó, da queda, tá? Então eu fui lá investigar.
This is what's left of the cruise shuttle. But it looks like parts were scavenged and dragged somewhere else. Could there have been survivors?
Não é o ponto marcado da missão, mas faz parte aí da história.
What's going on here? Supplies? Shelter? The fire is still fresh. Is there someone here that's still alive?
Aí aparentemente a gente chegou num acampamento ali de sobreviventes, é o que deu pra entender aqui até agora. Temos uma área pra entrar ali e investigar, e é o que a gente vai fazer pra seguir em frente com a história agora.
Stop. I'll shoot if I have to. Just turn around and leave. I know how to use this thing, and I will.
Oh my god. Who are you?
I'm nobody. Just go away. I'm not going to let anyone take my stuff again. No way. Both of you, just go! Hey, I'm not stupid. Last time people were here, they promised to help. They ended up tricking me. They stole all of my good stuff and left me behind. I'm not going to let that happen ever again. I don't know. You're kind of scaring me. Why should I listen to you? The crew? No one's been looking for that crew since before I was born. So tell me another lie. Go ahead.
You were born here? Hold on. Oh my god. Your parents, your mum and your dad, what were their names?
Jenna and Elias. Why?
Jenna and Elias. Private Jenna Marsh and Corporal Elias Obrist. You're their daughter. Listen to me. I knew your parents. They worked with me on the Dauntless. I'm Commander Sarah Morgan.
You're Sarah Morgan? Mom and Dad's captain? My parents used to talk about you all the time. It's like a dream to finally meet you. I know this is Cassiopeia. I've been here since I was born. I know my mother and father were from Gemsun or something like that. I bet it's like 1,000 miles away. My parents told me she was in command of their ship in a huge battle. They said she was a hero and the bravest person they ever knew. Yeah? Well, you're too late. My parents are dead. My father died a long time ago. And my mother, she was killed by those monsters at the graveyard. It's just me here now. All by myself.
Let me ask you a question. Actually, I don't even know your name.
Oh, yeah. My name's Sona.
Sona. What a lovely name. Sona, you mentioned a graveyard. Is that where the crew is, you know?
Buried? Yeah. It's a bunch of stones with those necklaces like the ones my mom and dad had hanging on them.
Thank you, Sona. I'm going to talk to my friend here a minute, okay?
Okay, Sarah.
Que bagulho doido, hein, mano? Caraca, velho. A história tá legal, mano. Tá legal. Bom, agora, como padrãozinho, dá uma geralzinha aí na casa, porque vai ter algo importante, ó. Mais uma revista de bônus permanente aí também. Bom pegar, né? E bora continuar.
Phew. I don't even know where to begin. I'm trying to hold it together. There's just too much coming at me all at once, you know? I'm just so relieved that you're here. There's absolutely no way I could have handled this alone. Whew. Yeah. That's probably good advice. Oh, there's so much to process. But I don't have time to deal with it right now. If you want to help, then find that graveyard and bring me those necklaces Sona mentioned. I'm hoping they're my crew's gene tags. It's an identification tag worn by UC military personnel. It's encoded with the soldiers' medical information and a sample of their DNA. If we can bring them back to Jemison, it would be like bringing home the crew's bodies for a proper burial. Good. Just be careful. Sona's monsters are undoubtedly hostile life forms that have claimed the graveyard as their territory.
Beleza, né? Então agora a gente tem um outro objetivo, tá? numa localização ali que é meio que num cemitério, né? Trazer todas as IDs genéticas ali da tripulação, né? Porque, querendo ou não, eles viveram aqui. Então a gente, né, foi pulando ali por cima das árvores e os caramba quatro evitando todos os combates até chegar aqui, aonde a gente vai recolhendo ali todas as IDs, beleza? Tá tudo bem penduradinho ali, direitinho. É só ir pegando uma por uma ali. A missão tá demorando pra computar ali mesmo, tá? É normal. É coisa que acontece. Eu já peguei mais do que tá ali na missão, mas ela só vai contando ali, porque ela tem toda aquela animaçãozinha. Aí ela some, aí vem a outra animaçãozinha. Então é uma bosta, né? A interface do game aqui, né? Aí eu não sei quantos eu peguei ainda, porque, né? Eu não fiz a conta ali. Ah, mas tava faltando uma, ó. Beleza, agora eu acho que contou. Beleza, e a última? Já temos a marcação ali, ó, bem na nossa frente, ó. Que são os inimigos, então agora tem que eliminar eles, porque no corpo do principal ali que tá marcado é onde vai estar a última ID. O problema é que não é bom deixar esses inimigos chegar perto não, mano. Porque vai ser uma bosta. Então, vou matar um, o outro ali é o mais fortão. Nossa, nível 100 também, né? Caralho, o bagulho tá vindo ali como? Deixa eu pular aqui. Não sou besta. E a gente tem que usar o que dá, fio. Olha isso aqui, mano. O problema não é a vida dele, mas... Mano, o dano que essa merda deve causar na hora que ele dá uma pancada no teu personagem... Muita vida não tinha não, morreu fácil. Acho que essa arma aqui era a fraqueza dele. Agora, vou sair no braço com ele? Nem fudendo. Tá maluco, mano? Olha o tamanho dessa bosta, mano. E o bicho é feio, amigo. Tá porra, filho. Beleza. Completamos tudo aqui, então agora é só voltar lá na Sarah, beleza? Bichão doido, hein?
No! No, 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 no! How many times do I have to say it? I said I don't want to go! Leave me alone!
Sona, calm down and listen to me. It's much too dangerous to stay here all by yourself, darling.
I don't care. This is my home. You can't make me leave.
We can't leave her here. It's not safe. She has to come back with us to Jemison. Oh, I don't know what to do. Can you talk to her? I knew I could depend on you. Now all we have to do is convince this poor girl that she's better off leaving the planet with us. I don't know if I have it in me to say the right things.
I can hear you talking about me. And I don't care what either of you say. I'm not going anywhere.
Look, I'm clearly out of my element here and not in the right state of mind. Could you just talk to her, please?
Beleza, né? Agora a gente tem opções, mas eu nem preciso falar qual que é a melhor opção, né? Pelo amor de Deus.
Why won't Sarah listen to me? I mean, kinda. I just met her. The only reason I'm trusting you at all is because my mom and dad said Sarah was a good person. I know she probably wants to help me out, but I really wish she'd listen to my part of the story. Mom told me 1,000 times that it wasn't Sarah's fault that that I'm stuck here. That still doesn't mean I should leave the only home I ever had, does it? Mom and Dad told me there was a whole universe out there, with thousands of planets. They showed me the maps and the star charts. That does sound pretty cool, but well, it's also kind of scary. It would be hard to leave the only home I've ever known. I never thought of it that way. But leaving Mom and Dad behind, it's really hard. Even though they're dead, I don't want to abandon them. I am safe. Those monsters can't catch me. They've tried, but I learned how to trick them. They're pretty dumb. And if bad people visit here, I know how to hide. I was even watching you when you landed. I bet you didn't even see me. This planet doesn't bother me. That's why I'm not sure I need to abandon my mom and dad. Yeah, you're right. I never thought of it that way. I'm sorry I yelled at everybody. I know you and Sarah are just trying to help. I'm going to go get my stuff and then I'll board your ship. Don't worry, I'll stay out of the way until we get, well, wherever we're going.
That poor girl. I hope we've made the right decision. Oh, I do hope that's true. We're ripping Sona from the only home she's ever known and casting her back into society. It's going to be difficult for her to adjust to the changes. Wherever she ends up, just promise me we'll check on her from time to time, please. Thank you. Look, before we leave Cassiopeia behind, I wanted to say one more thing to you. Perhaps at the overlook we passed on the way here? I promise it won't take long. Let's go. Look, before we head back to the ship, I wanted to tell you how much of an amazing gift this has been. You had to push me to come out here, and if I hadn't have listened to you, the universe would probably have never known about that little girl. Oh, yes. Absolutely. And it's all thanks to you. You know, this is the second time I've been on this world. And until this very moment, I never stopped to reflect at just how magnificent it was. Oh, look at this place. This is the reason I'm out here, exploring the stars. Worlds upon worlds, just waiting to have their beauty discovered. Shedding this burden of my past has finally allowed me to open my eyes, wider than they've ever been opened before. And it's all because of you. Perhaps. I suppose we'll both have to think about that for a while now, won't we? Well, I suppose it's time to bid goodbye to Cassiopeia once again. This time, under much happier circumstances. Now, let's head back to Jemison. I want to give those gene tags you gathered to Admiral Logan and figure out what we're going to do with Sona.
Beleza, agora a gente precisa voltar para Nova Atlântida e a Sona vem com a gente, então bora lá.
Welcome back. Did you find your answers?
Not only that, but we found someone there, alive. A child born from 2 of the crew that survived the crash. After her parents died, that poor girl spent years surviving on that hostile world, alone. We abandoned her, Admiral. We let her down.
I'm sorry. I had no idea. How could we have possibly known? Yes, of course. I think we can all agree that this was another unfortunate circumstance of the colony war.
What you'd call an unfortunate circumstance, I call a tragedy.
You're absolutely right, Sarah. It is a tragedy. One thing that I can assure you is that the names of these men and women will never be forgotten. I'll see to it personally.
Thank you, Admiral.
Good luck to both of you. It's been an honor.
Once we're done here, we should have a little talk with Sona. Poor thing's waiting for us at the lodge.
Let me guess, you'd be a lot better if you had a bigger book allowance.
Yeah? Did you want to talk about something? There you are. I was wondering when you'd come and say hi to me.
Hello, Sona. I see you found your way to the lodge without any trouble.
Yeah, it was kind of hard though. All these people around. Never seen so many people in my entire life. Sarah gave me directions. She's really good at that. Riding that gnat thing was super cool. It was like magic or something. Like something from the stories Mom used to read. But the hardest part was having everyone staring at me. All these people in one place. It's kind of scaring me. I don't know why. They sure won't. They have to catch me first.
It's true. You're one of the toughest people I've ever met. So, what do you think? Do you like it here, Sona?
At the lodge? Yeah, this place is huge. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. You must be like a bazillionaire, Sarah.
Oh, don't I wish? This place isn't mine alone. It belongs to everyone who's a part of Constellation. And I think it should belong to you too, Sona. I want you to stay here and make this your home.
Whoa. Does that mean I get to go exploring with both of you? Or wait, do I get my own ship? I mean, this place is great and all, but ever since my mom taught me that there are hundreds of planets out there, I'm itching to go see all of them. And if it means I'd get my own ship, that'd be amazing.
Exactly. And don't worry. At the rate you're growing, it won't be long until you're grav jumping to unexplored star systems on your own ship.
I understand. Oh, and don't worry, I learn real fast, so you better get ready to have another member of Constellation signing on for missions.
I can't wait.
Well, anyway, thanks for letting me stay here. I promise I won't let either of you down.
I'm sure that you won't. Well, I think we should let Sona get settled. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to visit the Colony War Memorial now. I want to pay my final respects.
Beleza, e agora a gente precisa ir até o memorial, né, pra prestar homenagens ali à tripulação.
I heard that the Trade Authority deals in stolen goods.
Look at this.
No one's doing anything about it.
All these people, their entire lives distilled down to names on a memorial. I wonder how close I came to being reduced to just a name. You're probably right. That's why I keep you around, to hold my head above water and give me a swift kick in the arse once in a while. And I care about you too. There's obviously some kind of a connection between us that I think we need to discuss. Just let me have another moment here, and then we can head over to the waterfall, so we can talk in private. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. When things at the lodge are too much, I love coming to this spot to just sort of, I don't know, melt away for a while. It's lovely here, isn't it? I've been from one end of the settled systems to the other. But this place, this exact spot, there's nowhere else like it in the galaxy. I don't know. I'm not sure I can explain it. Maybe it's the strange way that the art, technology, and nature fuse together, or maybe it's because it feels like home. Whatever it is, I definitely feel more comfortable here than anywhere else I've ever been. I knew you'd appreciate it. I usually come up here to mull over some of the heated debates we have at Constellation. You'd be surprised how many decisions I've made on this very spot. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. I've certainly learned that you can't make everyone happy. Anyway, I didn't ask you up here to admire the scenery. I asked you up here because I wanted to talk about something very important. No, nothing like that at all. I just have a lot on my mind, and I am terrible at getting right to the point. Good, because I have a lot to say. It's about my return to Cassiopeia. What we learned about Sona has been constantly replaying in my mind. Maybe it sounds crazy, but that young girl's isolation feels like a reflection of my own life. In all honesty, I don't. She simply reminds me of my own isolation. Maybe not in the literal sense of the word, but I certainly relate to some of her loneliness. Maybe. But for how long? I've spent my life surrounded by all sorts of people. Constellation, the Navigator Corps. Hell, even the UC military. Despite that, no matter how hard I've tried to make them a part of my life, they tend to drift away and disappear. I suppose. Well, if that's true, this challenge is wearing me down. Finding someone like that would be wonderful. Wait a second. What exactly are you saying?
Beleza, e aqui a gente tem a primeira escolha, tá? Que é ou você fica como amizade ou você segue o caminho de romance, tá? A amizade não vai mudar muita coisa ali e o de romance é o que vai ter mais impacto ali entre as interações de você com a personagem, tá? Então a gente vai seguir por esse caminho porque o propósito do vídeo aqui é mostrar todas as interações ali, tá? Então a gente tem que seguir por esse caminho também.
Sorry, I just need a moment to gather my thoughts. From things you've said in the past, it's obvious you want to have a serious relationship. You want to become close. So, if you're willing to take that leap of faith with someone like me, then I'm ready to do the same.
Nessa parte aqui ainda temos o game ali te avisando de novo, né, se é esse caminho que tu quer seguir mesmo, tá?
I can't imagine being in love with anyone else. So, if you're willing to make the leap, I'm ready to do the same. You're something truly special. You know that? You've helped me conquer my self-doubt, my confidence, hell, everything. For the first time in my life, I feel complete. And with you by my side, I'm convinced that feeling will last forever. You're the best thing that's happened to me in my life. I love you. Always.
E depois de completar a missão, a gente precisa seguir com o desenvolvimento da personagem até liberar mais história.
I received a message from my mother a few days ago. She's returned from another one of her sightseeing cruises. Yeah, you know, one of those luxury liner journeys that shows off binary stars, gas nebulas, asteroid fields. Pretty photogenic stuff. Apparently, it's my mother's new favorite pastime. Why would you be... Oh, I see. We never talked about this, did we? The truth is that my mother lives in a fairly remote location, so we rarely speak to one another. Yes, exactly. Everything's puppies and ice cream when you're young. Then before you know it, you've grown up to find your parents in control of your life. Oh, I'm certain they felt they were doing the right thing. You see, both of my parents were diplomats working under the flag of the UC Administrative Division. After I completed my basic education, they signed me up for a one-year apprenticeship in their department, without bothering to ask. It's the governmental arm of the United Colonies. You know, the politicians, the diplomats, the ambassadors. Imagine having to spend most of your career hovering behind a desk. Oh, I can't even fathom anything more boring. Look, I was 18 years old, fresh out of school, and I idolized my parents. I trusted them. I'm certain they felt they were doing what was best for their daughter. Who was I to argue? Wanted isn't the right word. Demanded would be more appropriate. For my apprenticeship, I was sent to Sidonia. My job consisted of drafting political policies and arbitrating trade disputes. The silver lining of the job was that it allowed me to spend time exploring every square inch of Mars. You have to understand, this was my first time I was alone on another world. Now, don't get me wrong, Jemison is an amazing place, but for me, it was the old neighborhood. Mars was like a new frontier. Oh, I spent every waking moment I could exploring the planet. I was swallowed by it. Months before the apprenticeship ended, I dumped my diplomatic certification and joined the UC Navy. Of course, my parents didn't approve. We had a huge argument that resulted in all ties being severed between us. Yes, I was proud of myself. For a while. You see, my father was killed during the opening shots of the Colony War. I returned to Jemison for the funeral and reunited with my mother. After that, we vowed to stay in touch. After the Freestar Collective started farming Vesta, and the UC pushed back, My father was one of the many diplomats sent in to arbitrate. After the talks broke down, war broke out on Vesta, and all of the UC diplomats were evacuated from Freestar space. Unfortunately, my father's transport was caught in the crossfire. Oh, aren't you sweet? Always concerned with how I'm feeling. That's why I fell in love with you. Your smile, your caring. It brightens even my darkest days. Listen, I'm going to be completely upfront with you. All this talk of family, it makes me wonder where our own relationship stands. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I regret the family life I left behind when I took off for the stars. If there was ever a chance for something like that between us, I wouldn't want to miss the opportunity. I love you too much to allow that to happen. That's why I asked about our future and where we stand.
Então aqui a gente já tem ali, né, a parte de se você quiser seguir pelo caminho do casamento, que é o compromisso com o personagem, a gente já tem a escolha aqui também, beleza? Você pode adiar ou não também.
You mean that? You'd do that? For me? I've been dreaming about this moment and still, I don't know what to say. Yes, yes, of course, yes. I just need a little time to think about the ceremony. I have some thoughts about how we should move forward. You know, I used to dream about finding the love of my life. And here you are. All I ever needed was you, right here beside me.
Beleza, e a partir desse momento, né, que já é um progresso grande aí com o personagem,
You can tell me anything.
a gente já vai ter algumas opções de vez em quando ali, né, que vão aparecer, que é essa de flertar com ele, tá? Então eu vou mostrando também aí pra vocês.
How is it that you always know exactly what to say? Of course not, my love. There was a particular someone back in my days with the UC Navy. We actually became quite close at first. But as I rose in rank, I became more interested in my career than what she needed from me. I let her drift away. By the time I realized what was happening, it was too late. She requested a transfer, and I lost touch. Anyway, I've dated other men and women at various points in my life, but I'd hardly classify any of them as relationships. As you might have guessed, I tend to concentrate on work and let my personal feelings fall by the wayside. It often drives others away. Absolutely. Sona is clever, and she's proven that she can tackle anything life throws in her path. You can rest assured that she will get the best education and care that Constellation can possibly provide. You know, Sona and I share an interesting bond. We both survived on that inhospitable world, and it drastically altered our lives. Most importantly, though, I'm certain we're both stronger after the experience. So, I've given everything we've discussed a lot of thought, and I've decided I'd like Aja Mamasa to conduct our marriage ceremony. You're kidding, right? She was the former chair of Constellation? The one that passed the torch to me about 5 years ago? We've talked about her before. Come on, stay with me. I remember Aja mentioning she presided over a previous commitment ceremony between Barrett and his husband Irvin. Besides, the thought that Aja would be there to officiate this important step in my life is comforting. I hope you don't mind. I knew you'd understand. So, with that settled, I suppose we just keep it a quiet ceremony? Just the two of us? Honestly, no. I respect everyone at Constellation, but this is part of my personal life. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to keep my personal feelings about us separate from Constellation. All right, it's settled then. I'll send a message to Aja, asking for her to preside over the ceremony. As soon as you're ready, let's head to Paradiso. I can't tell you how much this means to me. I love you.
E aí, passando mais um tempo ali também com a personagem, explorando lugar, fazendo missão, esse tipo de coisa, evoluindo ainda mais o compromisso com ela, liberamos a missão do casamento.
As we were landing, I picked up a message from Aja. She said to meet us at the park overlooking the ocean. Before we go to the ceremony, I want you to look me in the eyes and tell me this is exactly what you want. I don't know. I suppose I'm worried that I'm forcing you down a path you don't want to travel. Yeah, I know, it's stupid. But you've done so much for me already. I almost feel like you'd marry me just to make me happy, despite your own feelings. I just melt when I hear you say things like that to me. I love you, and I'm forever thankful to have someone as amazing as you in my life. Now come on, Aja is waiting for us.
It's so lovely to see you, Sarah.
It's wonderful to see you too, Aja. This is the one I told you about.
I've heard a lot about you. All of it good. You're quite a catch.
10 seconds in and already you're embarrassing everyone.
Before we go any further, I just want to make sure that you are right for Sarah. She's quite special, hmm?
Oh, God. Now you're embarrassing me.
That's called love, my dear. You better get used to it. Well, I've seen enough. I can read people the moment I lay eyes on them. And you're going to make Sarah quite happy.
Coming from you, Aja, that means a lot.
Of course, Sarah. You know I always look out for you. Now, are we ready to begin the ceremony? Very well. If everyone's ready, then I'll begin. It's been years since Sarah Morgan and I have spoken. And though it might appear that we've grown apart, I feel that we've become closer friends than ever before. When I received the message with Sarah's intent to marry, and that she wanted me to officiate the ceremony, I was overwhelmed with joy. Not because she had decided to rekindle our friendship, but because she was allowing me to share the happiest moment of her life. I can't imagine a greater honor. And for that, Sarah, I thank you.
I wouldn't have had it any other way, Aja.
Before you present your vows, I'd ask both of you to remember that love is what brought you together today. It is a foundation upon which a structure of trust, faith, and affirmation is built. This structure can be absolutely impenetrable if you both agree to love each other unconditionally, with faith, devotion, and acceptance. And most importantly, to allow yourself to be loved. Remember, There are no other bonds more meaningful than the one you are undertaking today. You should cherish this moment and hold it close to your hearts as a reminder of the love you share. If you both are willing to abide by these words, then you can be assured that your lives will be filled with joy and happiness forever.
That was beautiful, Aja. Thank you.
Did you need a moment, Sarah?
No, I'm fine. But I wanted to say something before you continue. When we stood beside that waterfall in New Atlantis, you told me that I deserve to be with someone who understands my feelings. It was at that very moment I realized I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. Your love means everything to me. And I swear to return that love freely and unconditionally, without hesitation. This is my solemn pledge to you. From deep within my heart, from deep within my soul, for all eternity.
And you? Did you have anything you wanted to say to Sarah?
I know you will. Oh, you're going to make me cry.
You had a gift, Sarah?
Yes. I wanted you to have this as a token of our love. I'm giving this to you as a symbol of the clean break I've made from my past. Oh, it would have been impossible without your help. And for that, I'll be forever grateful.
With these promises of affection and these vows you've exchanged, by the power vested in me by the Articles of Constellation, I happily pronounce you life mates. Congratulations!
Aja, I don't know what to say. That was... amazing. I couldn't imagine having the ceremony without you.
I'm glad everything worked out for you, Sarah. I'm only sorry that we waited so long to reach out and contact one another. That isn't necessary. This was my gift to the both of you. Well, you're both welcome to stay here for as long as you like. So, I guess this is goodbye for now. I wish the both of you a happy and healthy life together.
I'll never forget this, Aja. Thank you.
It was a wonderful wedding.
Beleza, depois de ter terminado ali a missão final de compromisso, que é essa daqui, a gente meio que tá casado com a personagem, tá? Então agora, né, vocês são um casal aí. O presente que a gente ganha dela ali, ó, é esse daqui, certo? Bagulhozinho bem legalzinho aí também. Claro que a gente ainda tem mais interações aí que eu vou ir mostrando pra vocês com calma.
You can tell me anything. Every time you say those things, it feels like I'm in heaven. You, have a med pack? Oh, I think I might have pulled something. Talk about seeing stars. Phew. That was amazing. Great. Now I'm more tired than when we went to bed. I wish all of our moments together could last forever. You thought that was crazy? Try it in 0G sometime. Damn it. Do we have to get up already? Hey there, sleepyhead. What's the matter? Did I wear you out? I'm so lucky to wake up every day to someone like you. That was quite a workout. Hope you had as much fun as I did. One of these days, we need to actually get some sleep after going to bed. Remember when I said I like to be close to you? Now you know exactly what I meant. I'm all for getting a little wild, but next time, let's try it without the jetpacks, hmm? Where the hell did you learn to do all of that? Oh, please don't say neon. That was a perfect way to end the day. Get any rest? I sure didn't. Oh, you're going to make me blush again, aren't you? You are the best thing that ever happened to me. Of course you can, sweetie. Every time you talk to me, I fall in love with you more and more. The two of us make quite the pair, eh? No, it's fine. Certainly. It's reassuring to know that I have you by my side. Oh, I feel like I can take on the world. What? I don't understand. Why? I can't believe you'd say that. You've provided me all of the attention and love that I'll ever need. And more. Was I asking too much? My heart feels like it's been ripped out of my body. Look, if our marriage ends today, then it ends forever. I can't go through this again. Please, don't do this. Then it's over. Now, I'm going to need some time to myself. Please, leave me alone for a while. I need to think.
Beleza, pessoal, e com isso a gente chega no final do vídeo aqui, né, que é o término ali, né, então só mostrando pra vocês como é que é também. Ela fica pistola, óbvio, certo? Não vai querer conversar com você por um bom tempo, mas depois ainda ela consegue fazer parte da tripulação ali da nave, né, claro que deve ficar um climão da porra também, mas de boa, né? Bom, é isso aí, pessoal, mostramos aí a interação com a Sarah, claro que isso leva tempo, demora, porque, mano, você tem que jogar, explorar, ganhar pontos de empatia, vai ter hora que você vai fazer escolhas ali nas missões e isso daí vai reduzir eles também, né, porque nem sempre a escolha correta é a que você colocou ali na missão, né, mas de boa, é coisa que acontece, beleza, pessoal? Se gostou, deixa o like, se inscreva no canal, valeu, falou e até a próxima.